Welcome back, beautiful souls, back to Essence of the Moon. My name is Selena. We are at a sacred space for seekers, the dreamers, and those who seek in the ancient language of feeling. Today we enter the wild, not the forest, but the inner wilderness, the untamed terrain of grief, desire, surrender, and rebirth. We're opening the pages of Feral Monologue, a poetry collection that doesn't ask for permission, that doesn't beg to be understood. It's just a primal, honest, raging, and soft all at once. This book isn't here to comfort you. It's here to strip away the illusions, to cradle your broken parts, and to whisper truths you might have buried long ago. It explores creation and destruction, beauty and blood, purity and pain, all through a voice that feels both ancient and freshly wounded. Reading Feral Monologue by Lennon Smith is like holding a mirror to your soul at midnight. It's a prayer for those who could have lived there through fire and came out stranger, stronger, and still searching. If you ever felt too much, loved too hard, lost too deeply, this review is for you. We're not just talking poetry today. We're talking about shadow work, sacred rage, divine unraveling. So let's begin. So in today's video, we are going to be looking at and reviewing Feral Monologues by Lennon Smith. So Lennon sent me a PDF version of this wonderful book. It came out today, so I am going to link all the information below. This is what it looks like. That's the cover. And there's about over 200 pages in this poetry book, which is a lot. I mean, a lot of really good stuff. I'm going to go through some of the themes in this book. So we have birth, sensitivity, imagination, purity, not a phase, value, uninhibited, love, identity, beauty, creativity, solitude, truth, feral, sacrifice, death, rebirth, and new world. Wow. So for birth, her first poem in this book is I Was Born. I write this in my sleep, and that is where I was born. In your eyes on this page. First breath of broken sawdust, and inks running like rivers. Over your face, down to more pages you have yet to read, so read on and birth me in the comely days of lingering laziness. Threads of Placenta is her next one. The opening part on that is the threads of placenta becoming the noose with which the host dies. Symbiosis offering into creaseless collaboration. The next one is threads of placenta. The threads of placenta become the noose with which the host dies. Wow. Not my parents is the next one. Here's just the beginning part of it. I am not a palimpsest. Look in the mirror to find the erased lines of my parents inside my twined skin. Laboring a baby. Boy, did I feel when she wrote this, I was like, how the heck did she? It just felt exactly what I felt, which is wild. Feels like a bowel movement is imminent. Go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, pressure, 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 but it's not feces. Oh my goodness. Keep reading all the way down. It says push, push, push until it's out. One more painless push for the afterbirth. Adrenaline shake as the pain recedes backward the way it came. So if anyone that's had a baby, it's pretty flipping accurate. And if you don't have an epidural, even more so, because that's intense, guys. Blood is vitality. Blood is vitality. It runs like quaking rivers through your whole body. Depending on different reactions, the body speaks and the blood listens. Intended the shiver the brain. Muse of weaving veins, an oxygenated current of language until the internal pulling. Choosing. Valuing life over living, the vows of purity wrought. My heart was ripped from body, and it was cursed with chains. Choosing now to find hope in the sunflowers and rains. Pitiful, wanton wants and needs into growing pains. Dare to open nerves severed from our constant stains. Locked to find amnesty in bared sovereign veins. Vats of stapled reticence of waiting despondent fanes. The next chapter is sensitivity. Commando is one of the poems in here. Armored to the teeth, but closing a secret inside, commando to life's poisons. Peel off the layers of skin and safe spaces unlocked to this. Commando to life stains. Perfect goosebumps rise to fabrics made of steel and bone. Commando to life scrolling, immune to broken abrasiveness, to pleasure and pain absence. Commando to life's awareness. Hear the wind. Whispered winds coming from the north, dark and in shade. Hear the message riding the cloak, consumed anew. Wound the tails around, flailing, adjust, cohesive and spiral. Sensitive to conditioned juice, ripening, flow, and growing. Feel everything. I want to feel it all. Mind over matter motto. No drunken nights or fights, no shoes for gravel roads, no rattling bottles of relief. I won't let myself go numb. I want to feel it all. So, give me the pain of betrayal, childbirth, bleeding gums and scrapes and chins. It brings my heart on my sleeve, and you give it your best shot because I want to feel it all. Imagination is the next one. Someone's diary. Haunted clouds slaked the thirst with the skies. When the skies rained down the words, a sad scriptorium. Bloody graves and solemn words alone come bare fruits and nipples to lustful pages, a vulgar grief. Whine and suffer, prideful fools, serpent nature, dims of spring, the dance of dipped quills, a glorious cathedrals. Yeah. It's so good in here, guys. So the next one is purity. Self-pleasure is lubricant conjured from bowels of self. Godly fingers caress and drip. Brow slick as a hammer. The flames lick a siphon. Spoiling the pictures of prospect. Corrupting the leech of flesh. Wicked in its gloriousness. Fall fiendishly on the plights and the damned wedding, a choir on trampling stirrups you found in the wild fields. Good and cloaked in oversight, a premeditated affair to digits, screaming in ecstasy with poise, necklines and tangled sheets. Self-pleasure is not. Self-pleasure is not a sanctioned order by the flies littering the floors of heaven and the earth shattering nonsensical threats you'll bestow. How mercy to file down the rough edges of despair, lying in wait, catching mist of oppression in the hands of the righteous. The pages of baritone bindings, a cheer audience to silence. A flesh robbed of grace and will, the powers of being and lust. Slaked, skewed slightly, a verse, and insanity's weakness implored between my posts of springs, laughing until you find release. Wow. Nudity. My epitaph is my nudity upon the wide open grave of truly revered scrutiny. The cure of sincerity wants the torn nibbles of worms and soft dirt, and I, my own mistress. The entrance of becoming undomesticated. The glass of domestication was stained in prismatic reparation litanies. Wow. Not a phase is the next chapter. Nature is life, shouting at high tide, stealing breaths of seagulls, wake of waves hindering, oh, what beautiful noise we have, nothing but listening to the buoys. Turn to learn faces, quizzing the shoreline, rustling detachment from under the bed at night, showing you the cut, knifed on loose eyebrow. Pagan ways. Prayed to be more myself, and nature called me. I took that as a sign, tend to associate green. Save for the madness, I wept to find her there. Say and choose to be and do in pagan times and ways. Not my religion. Magic is my religion. I worship it every day, to take the ruts of nature and put them on display. Play and fun run rampant down the back of the giants. I lifted only a finger, for magic needs are always pilot. You are not my religion, for that is a secret power. I saw the sparkles there, focus on golden towers. Witch home. It's not a phase or fad to be the witch of wants and the witch of needs. Come find me with your knocks, I'll see what I can do and heal. Find the witch at home. I am a witch of tendencies and sortilege mirrors of Mercury. Looking back at you and me, I'm a witch at home in this life of moon phases. In fads of wants and needs, find the witch is in and out of timeless stasis. Knock first. Wow, I love that one. Sleep under stars. Chew gum to secure the stars to the sky. Fashion nights under veils. Firmament ready participant. Roll out suspended bed on the night dulled grasses. Freestyled form clocks and fountains flowing. Value is the next one. Truth. Is truth true? If nothing in life is true, can we find the truth? But truths are subject to perspectives. My truth is different than your truth. So how do we sort the truth from falsities? And must all truth be mutually exclusive? Should we glide verily along seeking variable truth? Good question, Lennon, good one. Collective. The worth of the collective is worth the decency of another. Species loves doting, quieted, and I, the humble and contrite. The heart knows not what the blood moves inside. Painful reckonings taught in nest made from silks. At the collective cadavers, junctured in the space of bits, dates compiled in lines and an obnoxious branding. Uninhibited is the next chapter. Cry When I Want to is one of the poems. The request was always denied. I will cry when I want to. My tears do not have to threaten you, run like storms down my face, and leave snot on my sleeves. Please do not pull behind my eyes. I want breaking trail of anguish it'll make. Feel the feels, heavily inbound, and choose a human jerk, sobs and weeps. Ethics. Are there ethics and inhibition? Does optimal social convention dictate what is ethical in expression? Say, for instance, art or conversation or personality. Must I think before I speak, even if what I would say have been thoroughly thought out first? Does having a restrained manner only benefit the feeling of others? Why should one bind themselves loquaciously, expressing their feeling justly, merely to save the sentiment of others? However, now that I mention this, I have to consider the possibility that I may not like the consequences of some complete openness. Does empathetic reasoning outweigh the potential for awareness? Question mark. Intrusive thoughts. Oceans of thoughts run in fleets, terrible passages on the trains, conglomerate schedules in railways that plague the worms in the brain. Hard as you might try to run, they pass ever by the wayside. Don't suffer the speeding notions, but merely let them go like the tides. Love is the next one. Puppy love. My kryptonite. Lust versus love. Let's check that one out, guys. Lust is a climb, a mountain of pleasure stretching. Love is a circle, a portal of pleasure orbiting. Vulturistic or voyeuristic. Love is when you learn to stop chasing the high of the climb and walk through the long road together. Wow. Next chapter is identity. No time for self. Is there no time for the self? Could you still know yourself? After years of devoting to others, could you still ask yourself self-inquiring questions? The last housewife. Am I the last housewife who stays at home alone, in contemplation of family? No car, no income, just work. That when question means no education, no friends, just work, and so forth. There's more stuff on here. Wow. Beauty. Eye of the beholder. Beauty may be subjective and living cozily in the eye, but what of infections and the symbology of time? Investigate the ugliness and the intricacies of rotten, what is usually viewed as ugly. Merely means common, the philosophy of beauty stands up to any debate, for that is truly beautiful. Most cannot even relate. Ugliness. If there were no beauty, would there be ugliness? I wonder if nothing were beautiful, would everything be ugly? Better or worse than any adjective. Moreover, is there a paradox forced to adhere to society? Can't have one without the other? Sure, what is ugly can be beautiful, and what is beautiful can be ugly. Where is the line? Creativity is the next one. Your gifts. What if there are no gifts? Just insight and interest. A feeling of urgent necessity would be driven by firing synopsis. The need to create, write, compose, listen closely, talk easily. Actionable, permeable quest to be the shapes in the sand. Solitude is the next chapter. Intuition. Should intuition be controlled by logic? It would turn into rationality and displace hemispheric, not atmospheric. But intuition is which is first felt and first missed due to evolved contempt, consociating, not trusting. How do we learn to listen to that voice instead of the one who has the one that has the last word? Confrontational or conversational? Truth is the next chapter. Logic is based in facts, but truth are learned. Can I ever know real if I can't know but sigh? Can I ever be logical if the knows I know are based in the heart of could be outgrown? So good, guys. Feral is the next chapter. changing evermore. It's a chant. I am a shapeshifter. I am changing evermore. I am forever feral. I am not who I was before. Sacrifice is the next one. Confess. To confess is catharsis, but on deaf ears they fell. Any priest of mine had better have seen hell. So I'll write them here in the notebooks of smoke and leave them for no one under pretty darkness cloak. Death is the next one. Personify death. I had personified death. She was beautiful, but I was scared of her claws. She had a quiet tinkle in her eyes and smile, a slight despot of a claws, hooded, carrying a shield. She whispered in my ear and nurtured incanted law. I thanked her and went to the ground, interred, singing before the fall. Rebirth is the next chapter. Essence, the essence of me, shall flow on after death, and that is great thought. I wonder which parts death will take and which ones it will leave behind. What can I do now that would become immortal, that death cannot break? New World is the next one. Outside time. The New World chaos runs outside time, and I am a prisoner. Hope. There is hope for the future. Else what are words for? And the end. So there are 214 pages, which means 214 poems in this beautiful book of Lennon Smith. I'm also going to pull out an Eden Kiss. I'm not sure if it's mirrored properly for you guys, but this is a Poetic version deck that I got on her Make Playing cards, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Some of the images are not appropriate, so I'm not going to show them all, but I'm going to show a couple of them. So disconnect to resurrect. Isn't that beautiful? Watching you, watching growth, I learned to stop and smell the apples. So this is a Lilith and Eve deck. So on the sides of the box it says, Eve loved her devilish smile. Lilith loved her heavenly eyes. So this is talking about a relationship that Eve and Lilith, I'm not sure if could have had, would have had. Yeah. You sang the snake from its slumber while I poured the wine. Together we made history for an ounce of time. Blood Moon Emotions. Remembered moments in each other's arms. Atriums opened for us. Dripped into industrialized floors. Under waxing moons above waning cities. Exiled but each other's idols. Climb to me, climb to pluck the fruit of ages, climb to me. Ejects the petals from ravaged extinctions. Yeah, some of these are not safe for YouTube. Harbingers of defying traffics. Captivated by your feral facade. Yeah, these are really cute, guys. I don't know how many come in a box. There's quite a bit in here. Cried seeds of fates entwined. Yeah, these are really good, guys. A lot of beautiful images in here. And just very artistically, beautifully portrayed. I mean, a lot of them are covered up. I cried when I saw your painted portrait. This will be the last one. Yeah, beautiful. So again, this is an Eden's Kiss, a poetic version. Comes in a nice little tuck box. I will go ahead and link her make playing cards below. She does have a bunch of other decks and a bunch of other poetry books. This is not her first poetry book. She has many of them. I do have one, Immaculate Conception, which is a very good poetry book. So that is all, guys. Please check out Lennon Smith. I'm going to add her YouTube page on here, her Instagram page. Check out her Feral Monologues new book, as well as any other books that she has. So as we close the pages of Feral Monologues, may we carry its rawness with us, not as wounds, but as wild reminders that our softness is sacred and our ferocity divine. This book is not a balm, it's a spell, a howl in the night for those reclaiming their voice, a sacred invitation to honor the parts of ourselves we were once told to silence. If it stirred something in you, a memory, a truth, a fire, let it burn, let it bloom. Thank you for joining me in this vulnerable unraveling. If this book calls to you, I encourage you to answer with your whole heart. Until next time, stay wild, stay soft, and stay rooted in your magic. With love, Essence of the Moon. Goodbye.